Hey guys, today we're going to do a CK2 run as the High Chieftess Dobrava of Kiev. So we're doing an Iron Man game. Everything is going to be set to dynamic except for defensive packs are off, Mongols are delayed dynamic so they won't show up until 1000 AD or later. And yeah, we are a Volhynian Slavic tribal, which just means that we can raid and we're going to have to adopt feudalism or become a merchant republic. So I check the total strength of our neighbor. He is weaker than us, so we're going to use our once-in-a-lifetime subjugation casus belli on him. And there we go, off into Chernigov. They don't even raise their army to meet us on the river crossing, which is fantastic news for us. It basically guarantees we're going to win the war. And we do fight a tiny battle, but overall, not too much of an issue. And we do actually get a positive event from it. So now we just have to wait for the sieges to end and destroy his tiny stack of 17 men. The Avars settle, which I guess is good for them, and we get our tribal organization up, or at least we prepared to. And there we go. We have managed to defeat him, and I realize that we have two vassals. Him, he's powerful and upset, and a priest. So the priest really isn't powerful enough to threaten us on his own. Only this guy is, so we're going to go ahead and just attack him again. We also start building up Kyiv, which we're going to just kind of keep doing over time. The plan will be to just develop Kyiv as much as possible and anywhere in its duchy. And we are getting quite a few events. My overall concerns are basically just to maximize our prestige first and then our piety, since prestige and piety are how we buy basically everything. So we get him in prison, but we aren't able to revoke his title yet. We don't have legalism 1, so we aren't even able to go forth and try to get that tech, or to get that law unlocked. We do go ahead and just start raiding this weaker neighbor since we aren't able to subjugate him. And we do get the option to build a great monument. We can either get piety or prestige, so we get the prestige. And that does take all of our money, but we're in the middle of raiding a neighbor, so we'll just get that back. We do go ahead and battle this tiny army, and we do get our tribal organization up once, but then the council that we just empowered, for some reason, doesn't want to upgrade, doesn't want to up our organization anymore. So with that said and done, we finish raiding and decide to take on this larger neighbor to our west. So we don't have the entirety of the Duchy of Kyiv yet, so we're going to go ahead and just try to take that final bit. They are at war with the Byzantines, so I figure they're probably at their weakest. And we march our now 1,749 man army to the province in question, and notice that we are pretty terribly outmatched. So I retreat across the river to Slutsk, and unfortunately that's not enough. They are coming. I try to do everything I can. I set our marshal to increase levy size a bit late in the game and get us commanders, but yeah, no, it's not enough. They nearly doubled our numbers in the end there. They don't follow up, so we still have an army, but they're sieging the capital, and I surrender. But then they're bullied by a more powerful country, and we go ahead and swear fealty to the new king. If he was able to bully them and they were able to bully us, then it just seems prudent to save what we can. And this actually does give us the ability to just declare war on his vassal. So just like that, we have a way in. And there you go. We're easily sieging down the province now. We go ahead and turn down our marshal. And okay, so we do a duel on the plains, we lose, and instead of dying, I go ahead and betray everyone. My character is now known as the traitor, but she was just not ready to die. There is so much left to be done. For one, I finally have enough prestige to vassalize this guy over here in Slutsk. We let him charge across the river, defeat his army, follow up, and there we go. I was hesitant to cross the river despite it doing absolutely nothing for us, and we are kind of leading on all the other vassals in the realm. I was hoping we'd be able to overthrow the king, but unfortunately it doesn't seem as though that's an option. So our one vassal is still in prison, and this guy is also upset. So we're just going to see first of all, if we can arrange a betrothal, and they will not accept a matrilineal one with our daughter and their son. So for that horrible sin, we do attempt to imprison him. Now he does rebel, but we already defeated his army, so I'm not too afraid of it. And we already sieged down all of his provinces, all his tribes, so we just have to wait for them to be sieged down again. We do get legalism 1, so we are able to get the revoked title law. I got a loyalist spy master and my heir as steward. That, along with the chancellor who doesn't really care, means we are now able to revoke titles. Our king dies. Long live the new king. Or, I guess we have to say the words at the very least. This guy doesn't really like us too much. We can only declare war for independence. Factions are also not too great. We are able to revoke these titles, and it looks like this vassal took over another 3 or 4 territories. So that's, or I guess just the 3 in the north. But yeah, that's fantastic. And if we execute him, we don't gain the tyranny for taking all of his titles one at a time, and we're his heir. So yeah, we just get launched up to 12 titles. We give our heir 1 in the Duchy of Kyiv. That way, hopefully he upgrades it, and those upgrades will stay in the leadership of the family going forward. And we just try to split all the remaining duchies up to our other sons. That's pretty much how elective Gavelkind is going to split it anyway. So we can at least do that now, rationalize it a little bit. And that way we have vassals who absolutely love us. They'll, just kind of forget the fact that we were tyrants to those strangers. We are going against the council to do this, but we're getting plus 100 from everyone who's going to matter. So look, he still loves us. It doesn't really matter at all. Our other vassal died, and now his kid is in charge. But we actually managed to imprison him. Then we execute him as well because we were his heir too. So somehow that's less tyrannical than taking his lands. Don't question it, I guess. We do then go ahead and start granting this son titles. I made the mistake of thinking those 2 provinces were in the same duchy. Found out much later on they are not. And then we go ahead and keep declaring war on our liege's vassals. After all, it's basically free real estate, and every single one of these guys that we take over will basically just weaken the strength of our liege and just directly channel that into our strength. So because we are a duke level tribal with Gavelkind as our succession, we are going to lose some of these other duchies, and basically just our character's brother is going to end up being independent, at least one of them, potentially more. And we aren't able to create any new factions, and there we go, we die. So we made it to 43. We started off with a single area, expanded out pretty well, although we did end up losing 1 duchy to an independent brother. Overall, not too bad, I'd say.